Hey guys, something's been on my mind today. I know that I've done a video already, but once in a while I get these words or feelings that I have to. It's just something I have to talk about specifically, and I want to kind of reach out to the parents out there. I have three kids of my own, and fortunately, I'm not dealing with this situation myself. My kids have a very loving. Their mother's very loving towards them. She's had her own issues, like I have, like we all do, that she's dealt with, but overall, good parent, and but I have seen and I have heard about parents struggling with their spouses, or they're separated, and I really just wanna stress the importance of, I'm not the best parent in the world, but I have made a decision, a conscious decision to, always put my kids above myself. And what I mean by that is, I went through a long time ago, similar, separation like probably a lot of you out there have. And but we chose to. What I'm saying is, parents, men, women, if you're apart from your children's parent, it's really, really, really important that you think about the words you say about, for dads, the things you say about their mother. Your kids, they remember that. And even if you were done wrong, horribly wrong by your spouse, if you think about, it seems like a natural response to kind of vent your frustration or your hatred or your dislike towards the other parent. But think about what it's doing to your child, and your child had nothing to do with it. I mean, they see mom and see dad as someone they admire, they love, they adore. But if you had a personal experience with your mate and it was awful, uh, putting them down and cussing about them and that kind of stuff in front of your children, it's just going to make them think, wow, my mom, my dad, they're rotten people, they're not good people. And what you've done is, because of your loss and your sadness, now you put that off on your children, and you've handed them that hatred when really they just need to love their parent. I mean, I don't care what the parent did. I don't care if you were cheated on or whatever happened. It's really wrong if you think about carrying that over to your child. They know it's mom, they know it's dad, and they love mom and they love dad. They look up to both of you. Well, why would you put that hatred on them, and why would you want them to have the same hatred for their parent, their mom or their dad, that you have for your spouse? Because if you love your children, wouldn't you want them to be happy? And if that means, if you have a rotten spouse, fine and dandy, deal with it, as an adult. But you love your kids, you want them to be happy and joyful, and you want them to think good things about their parents for their well-being, for their happiness. And so it's like stealing their joy because you're suffering, and it seems really wrong. I mean, it says in Titus chapter 2, verse 4, I believe, that to train, young women and to love their husband and to love their husband and children. In Romans 12, verse 17, it says, repay no evil with evil. And what they're saying by both those scriptures is, guys, gals, you have an obligation. We have an obligation to show our children how to grow up to raise their own children. So if they're seeing that hatred, spouting out of us, then what you've done is, not only is your situation bad, you've potentially set an entire, like another generation up for bad family behavior. Because if you condition these kids to dislike their parent for whatever your reason is, that carries out, that carries through. I mean, you're not only affecting your children, you're affecting their children over your personal dislike for your spouse or whatever it might be. So the point of the video is please, don't you should see your children as your object of love and what makes you happy, and why would you want them to, why would you want your kids, your babies, to think about their, it's not about the parent, it's about how the kid feels about their parent. And so, your children should only hear good about your spouse, and really just think about the damage you're doing is not the person that you're lashing out at, it's your children. Why make them hate someone that you hate? You're hurting your children. They didn't do anything to you. They love both their parents. So they should only know the good things. And when later in life, if they ask questions, you can tell them about it if you feel a need to. But, if you had a spouse and they ran off with another woman or another man, and whatever the reason might be, and you tell your kid, yeah, your mom ran off, your dad ran off with another girl, a guy, whatever. The kid has that in their mind that, wow, my parent, I have a rotten parent, When reality is, the parent may have been good to, the parent may have been good to the child, but because you put it in their head that their parent was bad, they didn't even have an opportunity to choose whether or not the parent was good to them as a parent. So just remember, it's not about us, it's about your children. Guys, girls, both of you, don't use your kids as ammunition or a way to make the other parent suffer, keeping them, from one another. All you're doing is hurting your kids, and your kids are what make us happy. They're our joy. I just want to tell you that I love you, God loves you, and I hope you guys think about this. It's a real passionate subject for me. I've been very blessed. My kids' mother, she's very loving to my children, and we know that we have to keep that bond for them, just for them. It's for the children, nothing else. I mean, we both started our own lives, new lives, but it's not about that. It's about our children. And so just keep that in mind. Take a godly approach with it and think about their feelings. Love you guys. Have a good night.